Good evening, everybody. This is Monster Talk Live, and I'm here with Blake and Karen, and tonight we're going to have a great time. But first, I want to say Monster Talk, the science show about monsters, is the best science show about monsters. Change my mind.
Well, I want to know who you are, first of all.
My name is Matthew Baxter.
You introduced us, but not yourself.
That's because nobody really cares who I am.
Probably true.
We're excited to see you. Matthew, this is Matthew's concept episode, right? I mean, I believe you came up with this idea, so...
I love Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Send complaints to him.
Yes.
Send your love and your hate to Matthew.
Who doesn't love Mystery Science Theater 3000? I mean, it was a great show, and it was a great opportunity, except for Karen. And I think she's enjoyed what I've forced her to watch.
I've laughed along with and at these shows.
So yeah, it's it's cool. Whatever.
A fun idea. This is a fun idea.
This is such a hybrid. It's a hybrid thing because we're going to try to do. We're mixing it up. Theoretically, this is not a very MST3K thing to do, but we're going to watch videos and also react and also attempt to be humorous. So
yeah.
So
it's very serious.
Yes.
Yeah. Comedy's very serious. Everybody work really hard here. I believe in us.
Yeah, we have not seen these videos that Matt has chosen. So again, send complaints to him.
Exactly.
Unless these are all Rick rolls, in which case I have seen them. Yeah, so.
It's possible.
I would never give you up. But
just let you down.
I will let you down. That I can do. So yeah, someone's already talking about how glorious your mustache is. So, and I have to agree.
I'm proud of it. Yeah.
I was talking to Karen.
Oh, just you wait.
I take it back. But no, we're going to watch just a few videos. And two of the videos that we're going to watch, actually, it's kind of one longer video. It's from one show, and that show is called Paranormal Home Inspectors.
Oh, okay.
Okay, not one of the top paranormal shows.
No, not one of the top paranormal shows. In fact, this paranormal show went for one season and did very poorly.
Was it on TLC or was
Sci-fi.
It on the Home Improvement Network? Where was it at?
I don't know. Animal Planet had one. There's been a lot of networks.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true.
Every single network had to have their own paranormal show, and I honestly don't remember.
Fusion too. I mean, just over the years, we've had a lot of interest from producers about a haunted cooking show or haunted
fusion
or something like that.
Fusion and confusion.
Cooking with spirits. I could see a lot of Sherry related episodes. I could see that.
Yeah, we can do that too.
Definitely. So I thought, what the heck? Why don't we jump in on one now? I'm going to jump right to the scene in this Paranormal Home Inspectors, where they're going to be kind of talking about their experiences in this house, the things that have just terrified them. So we'll take a quick look here and see just exactly what we have. So.
Spooky.
Tell me a little bit about what's been happening.
No.
We have a staircase, and right above it, you keep seeing a shadow peek out from about the shoulder up.
It's just like a dark, quick peekaboo type thing.
That's interesting.
What else?
We both hear running up on the second floor directly above our living room.
I've experienced waking up in the middle of the night and see like a figure standing at the side of my bed.
What else has been happening in the house?
We see the odd shadows walking into the kids' toy room. You see that?
See what?
Shadow.
What about electronics?
I was sitting in the living room by myself, and the stereo turned on by itself.
And also my alarm clock, the time's been changing.
I know I haven't touched it or the kids.
Any other electrical issues?
Bob Dylan talked
In the middle
about
of
that.
the night, one time, our bedroom light come on for no reason. And upon getting up and shutting the light off, I realized every single light in our downstairs were all on.
One
They
night,
must have
Jack and I
kissed.
were at home by ourselves, and we heard the kitchen door open and close, and there was nobody there.
Also, in the kitchen, we could hear what it sounded like, two people whispering.
Have your children experienced anything?
Devin, when he was about 4 years old, used to tell me that there was a bad woman and there was also a man that lived in our bedroom.
A bad woman
We've
and
recently
almost a
got
man.
Yeah,
of
also a man.
Grandpa
He's talking
Charles,
about
and
his
Devin
parents.
looked at it.
That's her.
That's who?
That's the bad lady.
Who was he pointing to?
The picture of Mary Louisa, Grandpa Charles' second wife.
It looks more
When
like Matt
Ashton
Damon.
was about 3,
Hot
he
reading.
would always come in the middle of the night
Yeah.
and come to my side of the bed, and then I'd ask, "What's wrong?" "I'm just scared, Mom, I'm just scared."
Eventually, we had to move his bedroom. He was too terrified to walk into that room.
So what do you think is really happening here?
We have no clue.
Well, my team and I are going to do our
that sounds
best
true.
to try to give you some answers.
I have gotten a hold of some old pictures and a family tree,
Oh, wow.
so hopefully this will help you in your research.
Thank you so much. This will definitely help me in the research.
While Michelle focuses on the family history and researching the local area, Certified Home Inspector Brian Daly begins his investigation into the strange occurrences that the family have reported.
Okay, I'm going to pause it here for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that this seems to be kind of run-of-the-mill stuff that we see on a lot of TV shows, with doors opening and closing and lights flickering on and lights going off. And at the start, too, it sounded like a case of sleep paralysis, maybe, with what she was talking about.
Right,
Yeah, a little
right.
bit, yeah.
So that's,
Although a lot of this also sounded like you've got kids in your house. All the lights were on. Yeah, tell me about it. That's my nightmare too. But
Yeah, the 4-year-old is scared at night. Yeah, absolutely. We're dealing with the same kinds of things right now. So pretty mundane stuff.
yeah, absolutely. I'm not impressed by anything I've heard so far. Like I said, there's some hot reading stuff here. There's
Yeah, it seemed like, she had some insider information with that
now, are they
photograph.
going to clear the House of Spirits and then flip it for more money? Because that actually sounds like a fun show.
yeah, that does sound
That
like a fun
I'd watch,
show.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's happening now? Something about a skeptic coming in there?
Well, we got
No,
the home inspector.
Yeah.
So he's going to come
okay.
to.
Skeptic or is he a believer?
Well, he's a skeptic because he's dealing with homes all the time and the things that are wrong with them.
Right.
So
Okay, which is the kind of thing that we've done over the years too. I think going to people's houses and
yes,
you end up becoming a bit of a home inspector and finding all the practical reasons why there are things wrong with the house that aren't paranormal in nature.
exactly.
I think the bit about the scary man and woman who just coincidentally lived in the bedroom with the parents was pretty telling.
Yeah, let's not go there.
There's some issues here, but okay. So let's get back into it and see what this home inspector has to say. So
Is that home inspector or home inspector?
yeah, good one.
oh my lord. So let me share my screen with you guys so you can see it again.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And let's get back into it.
Day 2.
Inspection day.
And the new kitchen. Perfect. Now, we've got a few things to look at in here. One of the very first things on the list, kitchen door opens and nicely closed on its own. Now, one thing I did notice just walking in here is the floor slopes like a ski slope, actually. In addition, we've got lots of wind coming off
boring
the
ski
river
slope.
here. As a result, you get the pressures inside the house. So the door isn't level here. It can certainly open and close on its own because of the winds coming off the water. We're definitely going to check that one
I
off
like
the
this
list.
guy a lot.
It's
I like him
you don't
already
have a level
too.
door,
Yeah.
it's going to open and close. Now, before we move on, the list tells me that the homeowner hears all kinds of weird noises in this kitchen. This kitchen is an addition to the house. It's an old addition, but it has its own separate attic space above us. There are indications that animals have been in there in the past, likely contributing to that noise.
Animals
We talked
having
about
conversations.
shadows. Again, the river is right there. There's no doubt that just due to the sheer fact that we're in an old house that is not airtight, we're getting lots of noise here. So that one gets checked off the list. Okay. Now, it says on my list here that when the homeowners are watching TV in this room, they feel like they're being stared at by something at the top of the
There's a girl with dark hair coming right
All right,
over here
let's
in this.
pause this for a
Okay, what
second.
happened?
Yeah, we got the drama. We got the drama there, so
Yeah.
that's pretty
I'm-
scary.
I'm liking him already. I mean, he's absolutely going in there and doing the kinds of things that we've done over the years, just looking for just mundane explanations to the phenomena.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now, just because there are mundane explanations doesn't mean there aren't demons in your house. So, you know,
keep that in mind. That's absolutely true. Now, the thing that's interesting though is that the kind of thing that wouldn't fly in paranormal investigation is to go, oh, the door is off its hinges, let's check that off. Oh, there's a river right there, the wind can blow, let's check that off. Right. It takes a lot more rigorous sort of proving to the people that live there that this is what it is.
Also, you can't have a river without crossing the streams. That's a no-no in ghost hunting. So.
It is. Don't cross the streams. But yeah, so he's very nonchalant about just checking things off without actually testing them. So I think it's very fun the way he's just like boom, boom, boom. I love that. But
well, I think it's curious that they're starting off that way instead of having a skeptic at the end coming in and saying no.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Settle down, people.
Yeah, and it's like I feel like that they're doing that because this way they can get all the skepticism out of the way. And then disprove
and then get
him.
to the fun stuff.
Yeah, because we're going to take a look at what the psychic finds here in a few minutes. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, he comes in and just so far he's just debunking everything, and that's awesome.
Oh, he's doing a great job.
I have to.
I like it.
I have to agree with that. So okay, so let me.
So
share.
if you're ever scared of ghosts, just flee to the debunker.
Oh God. Why am I not more
just
prepared?
Trying to get the audience drunk, right?
Yeah.
All yourself, yeah.
And you're doing fine. Okay, so let's get on with the show.
There is something in the paint at the top of the stairs that I've got to have a closer look at. This is so cool. The wall's obviously been touched up with two different kinds of paint. You got gloss paint and matte paint. It's actually an optical illusion caused by two different types of paint on the wall at the top of the stairs. It's very subtle, but this definitely could appear to look like the outline of a person. That's pretty cool, but totally explainable. So we'll check that one off our list. My list tells me that
an interesting one.
when sitting in this room hear noises coming from above. And I think that's definitely the culprit right there. That's an old heating grate. Now, it's not soundproofed at all. It's pretty much an open hole through the floor. It's
still a great explanation.
Anything that happens down here
can
be heard in the room above. Anything that happens in the room above can be heard
Take
down
a drink.
here. Old houses have lots of holes. They can transfer noise from one end to the other. You have no idea where it's coming from. That's all part of the character. That is an easy one to check off. I recommend that they soundproof that and probably drywall over top of it. That should reduce any noise down here.
Also,
now,
the airflow.
Onto the parlor or playroom. The homeowner says that we get lots of shadows in the room. Look at all the windows in this room. We've also got a highway right in front of the house. A big bend in the road, so I'm sure headlights are hitting this house all the time. Coming through this window. Look, there's my shadow right there. It's no wonder they see shadows in the room all the time.
That's great.
Okay. In the basement. A nice old basement.
Just nailing these.
Electrical panels here. One of the complaints on the list was lights coming on, flickering. We do have a newer breaker panel here, so the wiring is all modern, upgraded wiring here, but there is some evidence we can see here of the old style knob and tube wiring. It looks disconnected, so once again, we're in an older home. It had completely different electrical at one point in time. As a matter of fact, given the age of this house, it probably didn't have electrical when it was first built. It's not unusual for an old farmhouse like this to have the odd flickering light and the odd weird thing happening with electrical plugs. All looks good here. I'm going to check it off. All of the problems that were on our list today could be chalked up to the fact that the homeowners live in an old house. They're not as tight, they're not built the same way newer homes are, and I chalk it up to character. You get the squeaks, you get the creaks, they've got nothing to worry about.
That's no reason to get a divorce and get a younger house. That's
well, show's over, clearly, because everything's solved.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I do like that, but I'm more inclined to think of the kids turning the lights on than the wiring system now that you pointed out there's a new system, but that's great.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool pretty cool guy. I mean, the thing is a lot of these problems that the people were having would have multiple explanations, possible explanations, and he gives one and done. So it's fun,
Yeah.
fun one and
Check
done.
that off.
Well,
I'm checking
they're
that
kind
off.
of
Yeah.
sound bites and stuff, though. That's
Right,
that's what
right.
we're
I'm
used
sure
to,
he has
but-
more. We know, from watching how these shows are made, that they really pressure you to say certain things, and they cut the show
and then
certain
they
ways.
edit it and position it and
Exactly.
But, I think it's interesting that they've got such a skeptical character on the show.
Yeah,
because
no, he's very likable too.
normally- yeah,
from the vibe he's giving here, I mean.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
he's-
sensible dude.
I mean, if this is Grinder, I don't know which way you swipe, but yeah,
Right, left, up, down. Left.
Karen. But yeah, so I think he's a very interesting addition. I mean, it's called Paranormal Home Inspectors, and there's one home inspector in the whole show, and yet he's not the star of the show.
and it should be two if it's a pair, right? Am I right? So-
A pair of normal,
right,
home inspectors.
home inspectors, right?
Paranormal. So who is the star of the show? Now I'm getting nervous.
Well, one of the stars is the psychic, and she's, they always say, oh, she came in with no information whatsoever, which is usually a lie. Usually the producers tell them all about it. The producer at least tells them where the house is located, so they have enough information to hop onto Google and get all the information they need. So
We know that these shows are scripted too. Even though it's reality TV, these shows are invariably scripted.
right,
So,
they're called. They're not called reality TV on the production side. They're called docu-soaps, and they have scripts.
Oh, really? That's
Yes.
neat.
it's a distinction.
Yeah. So
Soaps. I like that.
yeah. So it's a very important distinction. That they actually are scripted. And this is a great example of a very bad script. So
There was
let's
a lot of cuts in the interview the woman had by the river. That means she's like cut. So it's not, you wouldn't always pay attention to that, but that shows a lot of choppy editing.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
And I
it
love
does.
how when there's a point they want to make, they'll repeat it over and over. Like several characters will say basically the same thing. So we want to make sure our audience gets this.
gets the point,
Repetition,
because the
yeah.
viewers of paranormal TV are not intelligent. So we must
That's-
repeat
well,
this
see,
over and over.
I think that's the point that I think that's the way the producers treat them. I don't,
Sure.
yeah, so-
Yeah, dumbing everything down. Yeah.
Absolutely,
But,
absolutely.
I've in all the paranormal investigation I've done over the years, I've never used a psychic. I know that you've been involved in some groups who have availed themselves of the
Yes.
services of psychics, and I doubt, Blake, you've worked with
I'm still-
psychics, right?
I'm still trying to get over it, but yeah, it's a very tough gig when you're the skeptic and there's a psychic in the group as well, because you're just never right, and they're always right. So it's a big pain.
I
So
guess we can talk about that after we see this next clip.
yes, so let's take a look here at the wonderful psychic. So let me get over here and share my screen with you guys. Dead air. Okay.
Unusual going on in this old farmhouse, but with the family feeling they are not alone, intuitive healer Nadine Mercy will
Intuitive
conduct
healer,
her
I'm sorry.
investigation. Nadine has been
Oh.
given no information about the house or its occupants
None.
or what they have been
None.
experiencing.
Now, before she opens her mouth, I do want to say that Karen and I have both been involved in testing psychics for the $1 Million Challenge and things like that. And not once,
Research, yeah.
not once have we ever seen a psychic that can just come in and nail things. Anybody can guess and be lucky. Some people are really good at cold reading and can get quite a few hits in a row. Or if they're
Even
hot,
then, it's going to be hit and miss.
exactly, and
People who believe paying attention to the hits and ignoring the misses.
it's all hits and misses. Also, the title of a wonderful novel by Dr. Karen Stolznow.
Wow.
You can get it now on Amazon.com. But the thing is you can do really good with cold reading, but when it comes to these TV shows, it is all hot reading, and that means that they are being fed information, or they get
They're researching
information
it.
from researching on their own, because there have never been psychics that can go through any kind of scientific testing that can do as well as these TV psychics. So, gee, I wonder why. But let's take a look.
Editing, yeah.
Lots of conversations.
There is many strong spiritual presence in this home.
Lots of activity
You
in
can
this
tell
room
she's
right
the
now,
psychic.
right
She's
here.
blonde.
And I see almost
Yes.
3 women spirit family members.
Almost 3.
I'm hearing origination, funeral for a male, neighbors coming over.
A male died in a really
The
old
parlor was
house.
filled
Yeah,
with
yeah.
sorrow over the first grandfather that died in this house. That's what I was seeing, and that's the grandmother that's here. I saw her
Still
grieving.
say that's Matt
She
Damon.
was dressed in black. Lots of love, lots of care here. And they're passing it on from one generation to the next. This child is very grounded, nurturing, protective. Okay, so higher frequency, my
Using her
harder
psychic skills
read,
to
energies
intuit
just
that's a
went up.
child's room.
The person on this side of the bed.
That was good.
Most definitely hears and is connected to spirit, and she's a vivid dreamer. Right now, this grandma's image is again in front of me. Something about her husband. Old grandma. This child has got a lot of vibrant energy. Wow. My knees are shaking,
Like
my
all
legs
kids.
are shaking, so there's something moving through my body.
Overwhelmed by the amount of spiritual activity in the house, Nadine sits down to collect her thoughts.
The stairs
energy in
could be a
this
factor
house.
here. What?
A spirit that's connected with family.
Deal with the
Relatives
British
from lives gone by, a
voiceovers.
collective, and there's hundreds of spirits.
Yeah,
in
there
this
are no
house.
British
Nadine
characters on this
senses
show
positive
except for
energy
the
from
narrator.
many family members that have lived in this house.
Kinda like the
But
intro
there is
to Monster
also a
Talk.
sadness for a life cut short.
See, now,
I wonder if they also use Fiverr.
Somebody has a lot of sorrow for the child
something.
that passed away, and uncertain. I was hearing the word uncertainty around the death, like the wise.
The home is rich in family energy, but Nadine suddenly picks up a spirit that does not necessarily belong in this house.
There's a
Isn't
girl
every
with
home
dark
rich in
hair
family
coming right
energy?
over here on this side of me.
In 1860,
Shocking.
Mary Jacob, a young woman, mysteriously disappeared.
Oh God.
Next to a river?
Never.
Is
Look at
this
that mood
a
ring.
murder? Why am I hearing yes?
Yeah.
And it wasn't
seen those since
until
the 80s.
several years after when Mrs. Jacob confessed that she had actually killed Mary.
What do you have to say?
Sounds like it would have been news at some
I
point.
love my
Yeah.
mommy. And now she has a pink rose for forgiveness. I'm feeling somebody's emotion coming right through me, the mother. And she's having a release right now wherever she is.
Ooh, that sounds dirty.
It was a sad emotion that came over me from a parent.
With night
That sounds
falling on the
dirty, too.
final day of our investigation.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there. One, because I'm trying to be merciful.
Thank you.
Now the thing is like, yeah, they had this.
Wait,
this
no, I want to.
Go ahead.
Did all the people in this house also have parents? Because that seemed like what she was saying. That seems like that's amazing.
At some point.
Yeah, like that they had parents, or like, and it seems like some of the people had children, and all these people
there
had
was
feelings.
family energy in the home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the psychic doesn't seem like she had parents, but but other than that, yeah.
Again, I think a lot of that was very run-of-the-mill stuff with some hot reading thrown in. Some
Yeah.
of those specifics. And it was kind of confusing with them showing all of those photographs too. Were these photographs that were on the walls?
On the
or
wall,
they were
yeah,
just,
exactly. I'm
you know,
sensing old people in black and white clothes.
in an old home, yeah. In period dress.
Well,
Yes.
the thing is that they had the home inspector come in, find reasons for everything, and then now
good
they
enough.
have a much more dramatic reading from the psychic that makes you forget about everything he said.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it was just well
this is
placed in it.
sensationalist stuff.
Yeah, and of course, you know, she got a lot more sound effects than he did.
Oh, she did. There's always that one that they use like
lot more
on
makeup.
the thump sound, like the deep bass thump.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one bothers me. They do that on a lot of the. They did it on Paranormal State, but they do the exact same like sound effects on their other TV show Hoarders. So I always feel like it's like Paranormal Hoarders whenever someone in my house
Hoarding
is watching the show.
ghosts.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think it's interesting that with the home inspector, he's this dry guy and he's very practical. And then she.
I think he's great. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he.
Oh.
Does he come back?
no, I think-
Don't spoil. No, don't spoil it. This is our first time, so don't spoil
Well,
it.
the thing is we're not going to watch any more of that one. But I will tell you that his report.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, yeah. His report does get given to the family, and
Yeah.
they look it over and basically are like, "How dare him
Dismiss it.
Yeah, dismiss it, boom, right out, because they had the psychic come on in and confirm everything that they needed to believe because they called the TV, crew to come to their house. So I find a problem right there from the get-go when they've called the TV crew to come to their house. That means that they're not looking for a solution; they're looking for 15 minutes of fame. And when you've
We've
got
seen that too before.
when you've got the skeptic that comes in and goes, write this off, write this off, write this off. Well, now they look dumb, or they look silly, really, and that's it. They don't want to read another thing he wrote. So they don't want to see another check mark.
I think he's the star of the show, but you can tell they're certainly trying to set her up as the expert and as the one who's right.
Exactly. And that's another interesting thing is I think a lot of these are a case of people spending a lot of money to move into these old houses or wanting to renovate or whatever, and then suddenly they realize that they're in over their head. So what TV crew can we call to start seeing if there's ways to make money off of this? Because everybody likes to pay.
Over the last 10, 15 years.
Seems like it started with Amityville, and then it's just gone into a haunting in Connecticut and various things like that.
I mean, a lot of these places, there's a huge number of houses in America where you can go spend the night in a haunted house. And I keep wanting to call them Dread and Breakfast or Dead and Breakfast, but it's a whole model based on, I promise you this house is haunted. I can't be responsible for anything that happens. Also, it's $300 a night. Enjoy your stay. So.
That's cheap.
And we'll serve a lovely breakfast for you in the morning. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have several of those here in Denver, and you're welcome to come and hang out and check them out.
All around the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're all over for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And is the Lizzie Borden house, do you know if that's a bed and breakfast or is that just a museum?
I'm almost, isn't it a bed and breakfast? I think it is. I think you can sleep there.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty sure it is. Yeah.
So, and that's a great example.
So.
Yeah.
And if people living in the Amityville house right now were smart, they would convert their house into one as well.
I'd love to talk to Lizzie. I just have a few questions to ask her. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for showing us that video.
Yeah. Well, now we're going to move on to another one.
If I understand right, there's dozens of these kind of videos on the internet.
Tens of them.
About 20.
Tens of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're all over. So let's see here. Let's look at this one. And I will transition this over and we'll take a look. This one's a little different.
Hey, sports bra for large.
Do you guys know anything about the ovulus?
It's a cycle that determines pregnancy, is what I understand.
That's the thing, Matt. Yeah, Matt. Whenever Matt talks about it, he refers to it as sounding like the
birth control device.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But isn't that so? It's kind of related to the Frank's box and Joe's box and all of the other boxes. Doesn't it just kind of randomly spit out words?
It does. It has a database. A large vocabulary. I think it's like around 3,000 words or something.
That's not that big.
It's not.
I'm not bragging, but that's not that big.
Yeah. 5.
It's maybe a little average. But the thing is this thing just randomly spits out words, but it will spit out certain ones more frequently.
Like die and choke and kill and
just common everyday words like haste, so speed it up.
Haste.
It spits out these words. But the thing is if it spits out a word that doesn't make sense, it's the same thing as we were talking about before with hits and misses, which is a book by Karen Stolzno that you can get on Amazon.com. The thing is they're only paying attention to the hits, and in these types of shows, if it spits out a word that doesn't mean anything to them, well, guess what? It gets edited out.
So why doesn't it to make it fit?
Shouldn't it prompt them to learn more vocabulary? I mean, that's when I get a word that I don't know what it means. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But the thing is,
they're using this to its maximum benefit. So.
Right, but they will also wait until it gives them the word that they're looking for in a sense.
Right.
So
does it have more adjectives or does it have more verbs? Do we know?
It has nouns, verbs, adjectives, has all of it, and they're fairly random. But some words do get used more often.
If I were making a ghost device and I were plugging it with words, I would probably wait the algorithm to put out more spooky words. you
Right.
know?
And I mean, it'd be interesting to take a look at the data set that they used and who put it together.
Yeah.
But I just think that this would function like EVP or like
You can actually say the word. You don't have to spell it out.
Yeah, you can tell us. You can tell us. We know. But the thing is,
I just
go
think
ahead.
I just think that people would interpret it subjectively. So really,
Yes.
theoretically, you could throw out any word and push it to fit somehow and to make it seem like it's relevant to the
Exactly.
situation.
Exactly,
I
and
suspect that's what's going to happen next.
well, that's a big problem. And plus, you notice they didn't spend too much time explaining the rest of the equipment. But I saw one big glaring thing is they had this kind of like crucifix with EMF detectors on it, and then they had
Is that what that was? I thought it was mobile phones. I didn't know what they were doing.
No, yeah, they're basically EMF
I'm
detectors.
sensing a spirit right now. Thank you.
You can tell she's a spirit because she's blurry.
Thank you.
Yeah, very. But I did love that guy's equipment.
Heyo! What?
Hey,
Check
this
out the
show's
unit
not
on that
picking
guy.
On me. No, the guy with the cool afro and his sort of toy equipment, because I think that,
that was
is
great,
as
yeah.
valid.
Yeah, it is exactly just as valid. But the thing is they're going to have EMF detectors, and yet they have a device that cranks out as much EMF as they possibly can because it's a buffet for spirits.
Yeah.
It renders those useless
With spring
immediately.
rolls and
Yes.
chicken. And
Chicken
I mean, I
cordon
do-
bleu.
I have a motion detector, and I'm going to surround it with spinning fans.
Exactly.
Okay. Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that this is interwoven with comedy, because I do think that all of these shows are popcorn worthy, really, when you think about it. They're all comedies.
Exactly. And James does a great job of bringing out the comedy by just simply being
Yeah.
skeptical, and so it's a lot of fun at how he does this. But let's go on a little bit more here. Let me.
Like James, I got excited.
We actually
Isn't it
did
a new TV show?
we did a paranormal tech support.
It's like,
Well,
your
we-
call is important to us. Please stay on the line. So-
We did a bit of a punking of a paranormal group, and we were in a house that was not haunted at all, but we invited a paranormal group to come in because we said strange things were going on. We didn't set up anything. We just let them come in and do their thing.
you psychologically prime them, but that's it.
That's it.
Only in the sense that we said, oh, there's something weird going on here. Can you come and-
But
there's something
investigate?
strange
So-
in our neighborhood.
in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Who are we going to call?
Exactly. So the
But,
problem
yeah,
is
we
their
didn't-
Frank's box wasn't working. So there's a gentleman by the name of Rich Orman played the owner of the home, and actually was the owner of the home, but he's actually
Method acting.
yeah, he was actually the main prosecutor in the James Holmes case, the Aurora Theater shooting several years back here in Colorado. He was the main prosecutor on that, and I'm just letting that out. So if anybody wants to give him hell over that. Anyway, the fact that he's punking paranormal groups in his spare time. But the thing is this group is trying to get their Frank's box working, and it's not working. Now, I'm actually hiding in the house watching this paranormal group because I have my own cameras set up. And, so I'm hiding in this house watching them, and I get a phone call, and it's Rich Orman calling me to see if I can help do tech support to get their Frank's box working. And
Lucky they didn't hear the phone ring.
Yeah, I'm in the same house with them, and they never found me. So their investigation was not too good. So yeah, it was a crazy thing. But yeah, we spent a lot of time actually just doing tech support for them, and they didn't even realize that it was me. Because
but they did find. I mean, they said afterwards that the house was more haunted than Amityville.
Yes.
That they had.
Well,
80
that's really not that hard, actually.
Yeah. Seems that wasn't haunted. But yeah, it was worse than Amityville.
They found about 80 EVPs, which they'd, recorded.
I'm just picturing Matthew watching them on the camera. You need to move that wire to the other slot. No, the other one. It's like-
Exactly.
But I think it was just a good experiment to show that people will find something where there isn't anything. So even if you're telling a fib and saying, "Oh, this something going on here," if you believe and you go into a house and you go looking for something, you'll find it.
I know. We talk about this all the time, that people bring a lot to this stuff themselves, and they see confirmation. I can't help but going back to my go-to metaphor, which is, people get a lot out of their cat relationships. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
But that was a funny clip anyway, and made bearable by the comedians.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, Zach Baggins must be very aware that he's an entertainer first, because
He is.
He went on The Soup with Joel McHale, and Joel week to week would just demolish that show in the clip show, The Soup.
Mm-hmm.
And
I kind of miss that show.
I do, but Joel was the one that called him he called him Scooby Douche, and I just love that joke. But they came on and did a bit with him and everything, so he seems to have a good sense of humor, but seems to know he's an entertainer.
Yes.
And I don't think his audience necessarily is fully aware of that. So
No.
He knows what he's
I think
doing.
that they're believers, but yeah, I mean, he's got that museum now of haunted objects. I mean, it seems like everyone haunted.
He had that show of haunted objects, which a lot of the
Las
things that were on the
Vegas.
show weren't actually from his museum. They did the Robert the Doll bit, and that's not in his museum.
No.
Oh, and apologies to America. In December, my family went to see Robert the Doll, and we didn't ask for permission to take pictures. And now all this stuff that's going on with the virus,
Everything that's
it's our
happened.
bad, but we're skeptics, so we're not writing an apology letter. Just gonna have to wait for a vaccine. Sorry.
Yeah. Good job. Thanks,
Yeah.
Blake.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's our bad.
Yeah, he was just testing the theory, though.
Yeah, it's good science.
Yeah. Ouch.
So are we going to watch any other videos, or that's...
God, no.
Oh, is it just me, or is it like every time I see one of these shows where they switch to night vision, I keep being reminded of that stupid Paris Hilton video, and it's like I'm so glad everybody's wearing clothes. Is all I can say. Just delighted. So.
Well,
Oh, by the way,
I have no comment.
Never seen the Paris Hilton video, but every news story had a clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, wasn't watching, not watching. Yeah, no. So.
but I think that's a good kind of overview of the shows that are out there. I mean, there's just an enormous amount of ghost hunting shows.
Yeah.
still.
I mean, it is a good overview. It's weird because worst, best, it's the same stuff from show to show. It really
Yes.
is. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, and that was an interesting thing, just this paranormal home inspector, the skeptic didn't do anything in the dark. And they do have, they do have a paranormal expert come in, and they do everything in the dark. And you notice the first thing T. Baggins did was shut off the light. And, why?
So I assume you're calling him T. Baggins on purpose. That's not an accident.
It is not an accident.
Okay.
Changed my mind.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of these things have become conventions in ghost hunting shows. The equipment, doing the investigation in the dark. I mean, these are just features, hallmarks of these shows, which are just carried through. And I was actually a while ago, I did an interview for a paranormal TV show years ago now. And the guy who was interviewing me said, "What kind of equipment do you use to do your ghost hunting?" And I said, "Equipment? Well, I do historical research." And he said, "Yeah, but what kind of equipment?" And, like EMF readers, or I said, "Well, computer." And he said, "Oh, so do you use analytical programs to analyze the language when you record and you get EVPs? Do you analyze it on your computer?" And I said, "No." So, I obviously didn't get the spot on the TV show, but I mean, that's just the expectation. That is ghost hunting now.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I never got a show either. I wasn't willing to play the ghost hunters game. They really set the standard, and even going back into In Search Of, where they would have Hans Holzer on. And he would have his Geiger counter, and he'd have this and that, and those things really kind of, they really tread down that trail and made a good imprint for ghost hunters to follow. And unfortunately, everybody else jumped in.
I have good friends.
You have good friends?
Well,
Friends?
before the virus, in the before times, I had good friends who believed that the Ghost Hunter show was like legit science, and I just it made me sad because it's a TV show. Period. That's all it is.
Entertainment. They've always got disclaimers at the start and the end.
Right. It's science in the way that Gilligan's Island is a survival show.
Exactly.
That's right. So
exactly. Well, and it's an interesting thing because Ghost Hunters, for some reason, gave the impression that anybody could be a ghost hunter. Anybody could be a paranormal investigator. Anybody could get out there and do it. And the thing is,
can anybody be a plumber? And I would argue no. But so, just saying,
you have to have the butt crack for that. But the thing is
you could do it, Matt.
Why? Thank you. Why? I've plumbed a few things.
Nice.
I don't understand why they feel they can watch a show and become an expert in something, because they don't watch House and then suddenly think that they can do surgery on someone. So why is it they can watch Ghost Hunters and feel like they know everything they need to do? There was a time during the height of Ghost Hunters where in Denver alone there was over 400 groups operating, as professional ghost hunting groups in Denver.
Just in this area.
410.
But how many of those people also went into the plumbing business? Because I think there's something going on there.
Yeah, there was.
Why can you watch a show and think I could be a ghost hunter, but you don't watch that same show and go, I could be a plumber?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that? I mean, it does seem like a disconnect.
There's no fame to it.
See, but the thing is I've got my drum auger right here, so you go. I'm ready to do some plumbing.
That's called augury in the Greek tradition of. Is that right?
Augury, yes. I'm sure it is. And I don't know why I had that within hand's reach.
No reason. That's just the thing. That was
a little worried.
Entirely coincidental. Right?
It was
your basement.
Entirely coincidental. But I think we ought to take a couple of moments here and talk
my nose
about.
is itchy, Matthew.
A moment of silence.
Okay. Do you need a tissue?
Yes. Gotta give. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I think that we should take a moment. That wasn't planned either. We should take a moment and actually talk about the future of Monster Talk, where things are going.
That sounds ominous.
It does. Well, no, it sounds sexy. That's what it sounds.
I can say we've been doing this show for 10 years. Where Monster Talk is going has never come across as sexy at this house.
Until now.
Yes.
Until now, after dark.
Well,
so
the future of the show. Well, I guess we've got several components to the show at the moment, which we're going to continue with. The regular podcast.
Well, I want to say something really quickly. I want to say that the original podcast is what made Monster Talk what it is. And
absolutely.
I think during the coronavirus, it was great to have these live shows and everything and kind of have that sense of community. And that was a lot of fun. But that original podcast is really the meat and potatoes of Monster Talk.
Oh, it is. It's definitely the mainstay of the show. And we're going to be continuing that. Don't worry. That is absolutely our.
We have stuff in the can now. Yeah.
We do. Yeah. We're working on more interviews. Yep. But we're also just wanting to expand on our YouTube channel as well. So we think that this is a good home for our Based on a True Story series. So we want to continue to put these out and to put them through YouTube, also including the
channel them through that.
Yes.
Channel them through, indeed. But also the content that Matt is working on. We had a Monster Talk viewer, Francesca Todd, and she sent an article through to Matt. Apparently, the most haunted,
ghost picture
best
ever.
Best evidence for a haunting ever. And so he did a takedown of that. And so we're going to continue to do these little short videos on YouTube and also the Based on a True Story series. I think we could do some more of these episodes too. This was fun. I think there's a wealth other videos out there.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if
also to
anybody
continue
wants,
with the
if anybody wants to send in, videos that they want the three of us to look at and talk about and react to, we would love to do that. If there's videos that or photos that you want me to take a look at, now with the one that I just did, she also sent through, I believe, a couple extra photos after the fact that I think I want to do it when next video I do. I actually want to address a couple of the things that she brought up. That kind of showed that the statements by the skeptics in the article were taken out of context, and I kind of had a feeling that they were, and
Well, I think it's
she
interesting.
proved that to be correct. So
There are things coming out every week. It's really incredible. If you keep your finger on the pulse of this kind of thing, just every week there are videos and photographs and some claim that's come out. So do send them in to us so that we can take a look at them. And it's a lot of fun, and other people love talking about it and coming up with possible explanations. But yeah, we just want to juggle all of these aspects of Monster Talk. So,
and it's been an enormous amount of
expanding.
work. I don't think anybody realizes just how much work this has been to have this amount of content going. And that's one of the reasons why we have to kind of
Monster
pull
Talk
back.
full time.
Yeah, we want to make sure that it's quality content. So, I personally think that those podcasts are, like I said, the meat and potatoes. They really need some focus, really need attention. And if anybody has ideas on who they would like Blake and Karen to interview, send those ideas in as well. And let's keep that content going. But anytime we do a debate on a true story, we're going to do those. So they will air at the same time, 9 o'clock Eastern on Sunday night. So everybody can still gather in here, and it's a little easier for us to be in the chat room then, so we can hang out and in the comment
drunk
section.
by Blake's puns.
Exactly. So so we can all get together and we can spend a little more time in the comment section talking with everyone. So
Exactly.
that's kind of the plan, and hopefully everybody's up for it. So.
Yeah, but we do have for the regular podcast stuff. We have some really exciting stuff in the bin, and we have stuff in
some
what do you call it, in the
more coming up.
pipeline. Yeah, we have some stuff
In
that
the
we're
pipeline,
scheduling. So yeah,
In the barrel
in the sky.
to shoot at.
yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for all this. So I appreciate you guys working on the video side of things, and I'm excited about the new interviews coming up. So some of this new stuff is very going to be visual, and so I may not be putting all that into the podcast feed, but then our podcast, like classic deep dive interview type stuff, is coming up too. So expanding the brand. Yeah.
But before we go, I noticed we did have a query from the chat room, wondering why I have plumbing equipment next to my desk. Use your imagination.
Yeah.
Why would you have plumbing equipment?
Yeah. Why wouldn't you have plumbing equipment?
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. So
I mean,
It's Sunday night.
let's.
It's
It's
Day.
Sunday night. What else do we
Right?
need to say? It's obvious, and I have all kinds of important things next to my desk. I have my crossbow, so
handy.
Yeah, so-
That's
Yeah.
very nice.
come at us.
zombie apocalypse can happen, and I am prepared. So.
From both ends.
If I can't speak for like the actual science content of the show, but I have to say, even as a skeptic, I mean, a lot of being skeptical was about, I don't think monsters are real, but if they were real, how would I get rid of them?
Mhm.
I need to-
Preparedness
Yeah,
is
how would you-
half the battle.
How would you catch them? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
I guess we're running out of time here. Are you gonna? How do we end this, Matthew?
I don't know. I have no
It
idea.
will
Let's see
never
what we can
end.
come up with. So I do want to say good nights, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And
Yeah, thank you for all the
For
people who
joining us.
joined the
These-
live
These
chat.
have
This
been a
is
lot
great.
of fun and a lot more to come as well.
absolutely. So everybody have a good night, and we
We
will
love
talk
you.
to you soon.
See you soon.